Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Chattanooga. My name is the Reverend Mandy Goheen. My pronouns are she, her, and it is my deepest honor to serve this congregation as its settled minister. I'm here today to report on my summer adventures to General Assembly and what I learned on the road along the way. I'm here today to serve a congregation of people that is present here both now and perhaps watching the video later. No matter what brought you here today, thank you for getting up and hanging out with us. This is a place of love and justice. This is a place of covenant. And this is a place where we're going to work on learning about ourselves together so that we can be better, more wonderful folks in the world. We do a chalice lighting, and that's part of what we do in Unitarian Universalism to mark the beginning of our service. And I'd like to invite Bob Green up and his sister to help us light the chalice. And thank you, tech folk. Please join us in the chalice lighting words on the screen. Peggy's her name, by the way. In the light of truth, in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. They follow directions wonderfully. They're pros already, like anybody who comes here on any day, right? Hi, Selena.
Hey,
Good morning. How are you?
Are you guys going to greet each other for a minute?
So if you're comfortable, rise and greet people around you. Say hi and celebrate the morning. I'm going to sit next. I'll sit with you.
Let's join together and sing When the Summer Sun is Shining. When the summer sun is shining over golden land and sea, and the flowers in the hedgerow welcome butterfly and bee, then my open heart is glowing, full of warmth for everyone. And I feel an inner
So before we get started with our time for all ages, Jen, when did you give me this book? Maybe a year ago. When I mentioned it was finally time for the book, Jen said, "Oh, you have that book." Don't give ministers books you want back. Just saying, we have many books and many piles. But I wanted to say another thing. Before we start the story for all ages, I wanted to get us in a place. If we've waited a year to hear this story, it's worth being witness to and like settling into. So I want to try something that's called a somatic breathing practice. That sounds super fancy. It's not. So people of all ages who have willingness and ability to hold hands out or here, we're going to use our hands to help us breathe. And this is for any time. I see a big, got a hand in the back. That's nice. Anytime we need to like take a break from what's going on, we can use this exercise. So you start here, and you breathe in. And you breathe out. And you breathe in, and you breathe out. And in, and out, 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 and in. And please remember to continue to breathe even though I have stopped giving instructions. That would be awful. But it feels like we're in a good spot to hear this story. We're going to have slides today of this story. People who are watching online later, I want to explain that there'll be a video clip of someone else reading the story, unfortunately, because we are good copyright humans. So Jen, are we ready? Okay. Anyone of any age who wants to come up and join us and see the actual storybook pages is welcome. I don't know about all of you, but that was a book worth waiting for. So I'm so glad. Thank you, Jen, for being patient with me. So now's the time we sing our young folks downstairs for religious education. And you're invited to go ahead and down with Camille. And Camille, all the Camille's in the back. So no one ever asked me to vote, but I didn't fill in all those papers Selena's been passing around. However, this is my all-time favorite hymn in Unitarian Universalism. It's the thing that says it best, and I'm so pleased that the choir has been working on such a beautiful performance today, and I want to thank them for coming up here and welcoming us into our meditation and prayer time.
Of compassion.
So quickly before we move on, another somatic practice, and then you will be invited forward to light candles of joys and concerns. The very first feeling a nurtured baby receives when they are crying is being picked up. And if you think of where a baby is picked up, it's right here in the armpits. This, my friends, is called the armpit hug. So I invite everyone to give themselves a little armpit hug. Push up on the inside if you can. If that's not comfortable, another place to release some of that lizard brain energy is in your jaws. You can rub your jaws. You can stretch. And you can be present in your body, because when we make decisions about who we are and we aren't present in our body, we get in the weeds sometimes. So I'm inviting us all into ways to at least know when we're in the weeds in the future. So that sounds good. Pam, will you come up and help us light candles of joys and concerns? All are welcome to come forward and light a candle of something for something to symbolize a mark in time, something that's weighing on your heart, or even a question you have on your mind today. Sometimes it just doesn't feel like there's enough candles in the world with what's going on that is both wonderful and hard. It's interesting to live in a place where both happen at the same time. But sometimes, for me, knowing that there's a community here who's holding me, it doesn't mean we know everything that's going on with each other. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect. But it does mean we have a space that we can talk things out and learn more about each other. And in the spirit of learning more about each other, I just want to honor all the reasons candles were lit today. And I want to honor the fact that lots of candles don't get lit sometimes that need to be. I want to shift gears slightly and invite the press secretary of God to speak to us.
Thank you all for coming. it straight
Oh, you gotta.
from his lips.
You gotta.
I have it straight
There we
from
go.
his lips. The current theories on the creation of the universe states that if it was created at all and didn't just start, as it were, unofficially, it came into being between 10 and 20,000 million years ago. By the same token, the Earth itself is generally supposed to be about 4,500 million years old. These dates are incorrect, and I know. He says, she says. Medieval Jewish scholars put the date of the creation at 3,706 BC. Greek Orthodox theologians put creation as far back as 5,508 BC. These are also incorrect. Archbishop James Ussher, who lived between 1580 and 1656, published Analysis Veritatis et Novi Testamente in 1654, which suggested that the heaven and the earth were created in 4004 BC. One of the aides that took the calculation even further and was able to announce triumphantly that the earth was created on Sunday, the 21st of October, 4004 BC, at exactly 9 o'clock. Because God thought he needs to get to his work done early, so he can do the rest of his chores. This too is incorrect. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Let me make this a little easier.
And my aide here is very helpful to me. Thank you very much. The press secretary has trouble seeing. This too was incorrect, but almost a quarter of an hour. The whole business with the fossilized dinosaur skeletons was a joke by the paleontologists. Well, we haven't seen that yet. This proves two things. Two things. First, that he, she, God moves in extremely mysterious ways. Not to say circuitous ways. God does not play dice with the universe. He, she, it plays an infallible game of his own devising, which might be compared from the perspective of the other players to be involved in an obscure and complex version of poker in a pitch-dark room with black cards from infinite stakes with a dealer who won't tell you the rules, who smiles all the time. Secondly, the Earth is a Libra. Didn't you know that? The astrology prediction for Libra in the Your Stars Today magazine column of the Tadfield Advertiser on the day that history begins reads as follows. Libra, September 24th through October 23rd. You may be feeling run down and always in the same old daily round. Home and family matters are highlighted and are hanging obscurely. Avoid unnecessary risks. A friend is important to you. Shelve major decisions until the way ahead seems clear. You may be vulnerable to a stomach upset today, so avoid salads. Help could come from an unexpected quarter. This was perfectly correct on every count, except about salads. And that is the news of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Press Secretary. That is one of my, okay. The series is about knowing ourselves, and if you don't already know that I'm a total science fiction nerd, you're wrong. And the fact that I love something with a good theological plot line, and the story of Good Omens has a great theological plot line, and they're battling it out during the current apocalypse, because they're always going on, over the idea that there is good and evil and they don't exist codependently. It's a great book, great series on Netflix. It's worth your time. I went to General Assembly this year, and that is the meeting of Unitarian Universalists all over the world and the country to talk about Unitarian Universalism. And it is a place where birds of a feather certainly flock together. It is a place of covenant. And I want to say that everyone is kind of struggling with covenant, because here, this might be the real reason, is Unitarian Universalism is a Taurus, and it's kind of stubborn. It seems odd that we would label something as specific as the name of a constellation, or pigeonhole our lives into being a specific thing. And on the way to General Assembly, I had kind of pigeonholed what I thought it would be into a specific thing. This is going to be a boring business meeting. I'm going to be tired. I have so many things I have to do. But when I got there, in the midst of my birds of a feather, I wasn't prepared for how sore my armpits would be from the constant hugging. And I didn't know who all I knew anymore. It was fabulous. It was a time of reconnecting with Unitarian Universalism that I was hungry for. But I didn't just get to Pittsburgh on an airplane. I drove my car. And I drove my car with two of my kids, Isaiah and Leo, and they are 15 and soon to be 18. And I listen to audiobooks on my trips. When I consider a trip to GA a business trippy, so I listen to something that has to do with my job on an audiobook. And I was listening to Richard Rohr's book about something called the Enneagram, which I'll talk about in a minute. And what cracked me up was we were about an hour and a half in, and the boys are great travelers. They don't pay any attention to me. You just give them snacks, and we stop to go to the bathroom, fast food. They just tune me out. They have traveled their whole lives. And all of a sudden I hear, "Oh my God, I can't take one more minute of this book." And I was totally into it and immersed in what he was saying in that moment. And I thought to myself, oh, okay, there is my current context, and we are different kinds of people. Listening to academic blah, blah, blah is my jam. And he was dying a slow death in the back seat, which I would have also had at 15, by the way. The book I was listening to was about covenant in a way, but not covenant with each other, covenant with ourselves. Enneagram is really, I'll talk more about what that is. It's a personality exploration that helps us know ourselves so that we can be better people together in the world. I want to make a really clear distinction every Sunday, because I'm going to talk about this for the next 3, that this is not a way to figure out who someone else is. This is not a way to manipulate others. This is not a way to judge others. This is about you figuring out who you are so that you get along with people in a more fun, joyful way, or easier, whatever you want to say. It's not about, oh, she's a blah, 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 so we have to be very careful when we talk to her. I started out my time here, my very first online board retreat, because we were in COVID, with the test called the DOPE test. DOPE because of dove, eagle, owl, peacock. And I always find this test pretty fun because it's absurd. Oh, great, my mom's calling. Speaking of absurd. I only have this phone up here because the clock's broken. All right. Andre, can you check on it? Okay. I think she knew I was busy. Anyway. Speaking of absurd. Sometimes we learn and process loves. This is one of those moments. Anyway, it probably wouldn't be shocking to most of you, specifically with the colors I have on and the way my hair's flying out today, that I am a peacock, clearly. But what's secret about me is I'm an eagle too. So look at the descriptions of each of these, and this is not science. This is not credible. This is just fun. This is a way to explore who we are. Are you a dove? Are you friendly, patient, loyal, sensitive, team player, avoids conflict, and thinks with emotions? Are you an owl? A logical thinker, methodical, quiet, problem solver, slow to react? A perfectionist? A peacock, adores attention, talkative, confident, life of the party, irresponsible, dramatic, and persuasive. Eagle, bold, dominant, decisive, confident, self-centered, narrow-minded, and insensitive. I am clearly a peacock and a lot of eagle. And that's how these personality things work. Like, you're probably more than one thing. You shift in between them. Which brings me to this boring car ride and learning all about the Enneagram. I got in that car ride listening to this Enneagram audiobook with the intention of speaking before you today. Like, I've been planning this out for a while, and I wanted to know what I was talking about. I got in the car knowing for certain I was a 1. Knowing. And forgetting the very first rule of the Enneagram, which is nobody gets to decide what you are but you. And the reason I knew I was a 1 is because I had taken a fancy test with a psychiatrist who had told me I was a 1. No matter how much more I'd read about it, I was a 1. And people would say, "You're a what?" Okay, maybe. When clearly, as the peacock, I am the 4. I have all the traits of the 4, but I have the traits of the 1 too. Because I'm a balance. See that line that shoots between them? We have connections to other types of personalities. Now, this Enneagram thing is very, very old. Ancient, in fact. The Desert Fathers, which are biblical writers that didn't make it in the book, those people were talking about the Enneagram. It comes through Islam. It comes all these places. And the thing that really makes me curious is it keeps sticking around. We're still kind of talking about it. It's helpful for the underlying structure of what we're going to talk about so folks can decide on this Enneagram test who they are. Now, I came out as a 1, but when I took the test, it's important to remember that I had 6 children under the age of 15 years old. If I were not a perfectionist and methodical and strategic, I wouldn't have made it a day. When I am in that mode of perfectionism, I let go of myself as the individualist a little bit. It's not the priority of my energy or where I'm going. I become more focused and more 1-ish. Now, I don't believe any of this. I want to just clarify that. I am not telling anyone to believe this. I am just saying this is a cool tool to explore who you are and make your own decisions. I always feel cautious with certainty, and I always come back to a James Luther Adams, a great, great theologian of Unitarianism, who said revelation is not sealed. So anytime we get uncertainty, we get in the weeds. This is a time to learn thyself. Now see, these are divided a little more specifically like this, too. So we have gut, head, and heart. Does that make more sense, thinking about like where those come from? Historically, we have used things like animals to describe this stuff. Historically, we've tried to figure it out by narrowing something into a sun sign or a chart. Remember those charts? If you still do those, my friend did one for me like a year ago. The sun sign chart that told you your future and what ley line you were on. Anyway, it's amazing, and I don't believe it. However, I learned from it. I learned more and more from it. My call to Unitarian Universalism is very gut-centered and heart-centered and mind-centered because I have always thought that what we needed were really fabulous, healthy churches so that we could go do effective justice in the world. And with that, you can't just wake up and sprout that. You have to have really effective communicating individuals who are willing to take risks to be with each other, willing to be a little uncomfortable. I don't know if willing's the right word, brave enough to be a little uncomfortable. I've had fabulous conversations with people this summer about what this church is. And I want to say that the press secretary of God has informed me on several occasions that we are softening our angstiness around God. We are becoming a more spiritual church. We have more rituals. We're laughing a lot. We're having fun together, and we're growing in unexpected ways. This place is worth each of us going on a journey to know ourselves so that we don't get ourselves all over other people. Have you ever done that? Like leaked out and been a little grouchy? I think about, once again, like I doubt my kid really meant to scream at me from the back seat in the car, but we get to those points where things just come out of our mouth and we don't know why. I went to the National Zoo, and this is the story I want to kind of close with. I think, yes, for sure, just making sure. I went to the National Zoo. We lived in D.C. when all those kids were that little, and I took that test, and we went to the National Zoo, and there was a sloth in the enclosure. And the sloth was moldy and laying on his back and just hanging out. And these tamarins, tiny, fast monkeys things with long, loopy tails, were running through the enclosure. They looked like adolescents and bouncing off the sloth's stomach. Over and over and over. And I thought to myself, that sloth's going to be really mad in about 30 years. The point of exploring who we are is also recognizing that we all process things differently. Some of us are sloths. Some of us are running around the cage like monkeys. You know, like we do a lot of things. We're different together. But we're here because we all have a heart for the world. We're here because we all believe that what this community is important in Chattanooga. This community is vitally important in Unitarian Universalism. Not that it's important to us the other way around. We are a church who did it during pandemic. We're a church who is doing pretty dang good every day. We have an incredible staff, and here we are, right? We're something to be proud of, and we have gifts to give. And if we learn about ourselves, we'll be better ready to give those gifts and move on into the world with love and care and not leak out harm as I do sometimes, even though I have the best intentions. I'm not exactly the sloth, though, so that's an important moral to the story. Thank you for being patient with everything, including my mother's phone call. And that concludes my message today. Now is this. See, that's an interesting thing. We go from gut to that. So I want to talk about GA again, and I want to talk about a gift you gave to me, and I'm going to embarrass someone because I love them in this congregation. So one of the things that the offering does in our church is supports our staff, and I got to go on this fabulous trip to Pittsburgh and hang out with cool ministers and learn so many things. My brain is spilling out. I'm still watching the videos from it. But the most precious gift this church gave me was that it helped pay for my hotel room. And that hotel room came with an extra gift. The extra gift was Reverend Pam Johnson. Can you come here for a hug? This place has a ministry team. You know how cool that is? Do you know how cool it is that your contributions help pay for this amazing time for us to be together in Pittsburgh with, like, Tennessee represented? I forgot to say that. There were so many ministers from Tennessee. One of the people who came and guest preached here a while back, Juniper Stinnett?
She's Meadows.
Meadows now. And your minister might have been busking on the roadside with the mandolin singing Dixieland Delight. You never know what happened in Pittsburgh. Lots of things. We had a glorious party. I got to hang out with Stephen Dady. But the real gift that this congregation gave to me that I will treasure forever is to have the time with Pam to process my church year and dream about the future together. So I just want to say thank you and just let you know that's the kind of thing these offerings are for. And I'm just really, I have so much gratitude. That's all I can say. And also, offerings are optional. I know that was a big sob story. Please let the plate pass you by if this is not the day, but your offering will be so gratefully received. Please join me in our offertory response. We give these gifts freely, committed to our mission to care, create beloved community, awaken hearts and minds, resist injustice and act with compassion, embrace life and care for the earth. To this work we dedicate our offerings.
Ready to learn a song?
It is the song we sang at GA constantly, and so that's why this is thematically part of this conversation. We had such a time, and this song just touches my heart in a new way. So thank you for being willing to learn a new song.
Okay, so of course we need to practice just a little bit, and so sound guys, I hope you'll pay attention as I go through. What I want to challenge you to do, if you don't know this song, you can listen the first time through. If you know it, please sing as loudly as you can. But we'll go over part one just once, and then we'll switch to the next slide and go over part two just to practice it. But the one thing you need to know, first of all, is the phrase woyaya. It's thought to mean we are going in Ghanaian. So just so you know, we'll get there. Let's start with this phrase. It goes like this. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we'll know within, and we will get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Okay, that's your first phrase. If you'll switch to the second slide, here's the second part of it. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. All right? And the third part of it is the wo-ya-ya. And this is where you get to harmonize on it. So it starts out like this. Wo-ya-ya, 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 wo-ya-ya. And we're going to sing it until it doesn't feel right to sing it anymore. If you want to harmonize, here's a possibility. Wo-ya-ya, 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 wo-ya-ya. So you've got some choice in the middle of it. So here we go. We're going to start, and we're going to do the first part of it, the first slide. We'll sing it through 3 times. Please join with me. Stand as you're able and as you're willing, and let's sing together. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Let's repeat that. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. One more time. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. And part 2. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. And let's repeat that. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Here's your wo-ya-ya. Wo-ya-ya, 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 wo-ya-ya. Let's do it again. Wo-ya-ya, wo-ya-ya. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Here's your harmony part. Wo-ya-ya, 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 wo-ya-ya,
Please be seated. Yes. Yes. Whew. So what? Oh no. Yes. So what? Okay. So, what is up is I want to tell you what's coming. Next week, something amazing's coming. Next week is Music Sunday. So we have Music Sunday next week. There's going to be all kinds of challenges for our music director. I can't even believe the things you've all voted for. It makes me wish I was going to be here. It's amazing. Are you ready for it?
For those of you who requested Bohemian Rhapsody, I'm just not sure I can do everything. So I just want to say that. But if you are willing to come forward and do the harmonies on it, maybe we can put something together. So identify yourself. Yourselves. There were several of them.
There were several votes. That's the thing that makes me so happy.
I'm sorry to interrupt this, but just while we're here, I still have some ballots. They're on that corner table back there. If you want to put in your vote for your favorite song from one of our songbooks or some song that you just always wanted to sing at church. We may not be able to do it next week, but at some point we're going to have Queen in our service. Just so you know. Okay.
Thank you. And then so the next week after that is we're going to keep on this knowing ourselves theme, and I'm going to talk about personalities and how we all have different learning styles and how we learn together the best way. Then the week after, on the 13th of August, I'm going to talk about introverts versus extroverts. That is the question, is what I've written. On August 20th, I'm going to talk about love language, and the name of the sermon is How Are You Loved? I feel unloved by technology is the quote I wrote underneath this idea, so who knows where that one's going. So yeah, and then this is kind of far off, but I don't know. It seems cool to start marking our calendars. I'm so excited. On September 3rd, which is the Labor Day weekend, I'm doing a service with Gray Henry about the photography project they did with Community Church in New York, and it's going to be really cool. So go ahead and mark your calendars. If anybody doesn't know, Gray Henry grew up in this church and is one of the most amazing youth leaders behind the scenes that we have. So it would be a really cool opportunity to enjoy them. Also, I think that's it. Oh yeah, just talking about what's coming up and what's going on. I have had a week of obstacles, like trees falling in the road on my way places, trains, losing my sermon notebook, which was terrifying for about 24 hours, my AirPods, my bank. It's been that kind of week. And in that kind of week, we've lost our house sitter to go on vacation. So I'm still in flux, y'all. So I'm around until at very least Tuesday. Hello. I will be sure to be gone next weekend, and next weekend's in wonderful hands with Selena's service and our board. And I think that's the end of my so what. Let's learn a lot together so we can be great for Chattanooga. So what? And now it's time to extinguish our chalice, which I didn't give a lesson on. So Pam, can you come up and help us? Please join me in the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but keep the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. Announcement. Oh my gosh. Christian, come on up. That's so cool. Best announcements ever. This place has the best announcements in town. Tell them that when you invite people to church.
Well, yeah, what you see, the photos from last night, truly excited that 13 of us got together to bicycle the river walk. We had some really speedy ones that made it all the way to the dam. So some other ones that had to head home earlier already to put the little ones to bed. So we had 2 little ones in there. People from all ages had a fantastic evening. So this was the first of our 4 summer night series. And you said, darn, you missed it. Okay, you get 1 more opportunity, maybe 3 opportunities. But the next opportunity is this coming Saturday. When we're gonna go to the ballpark. Friday to the ballpark. We meet at 6:45 at the AT&T Stadium in downtown next to the aquarium. The game starts at 7:15. The Chattanooga Lookouts play against the... No. It's the Biscuits. The Montgomery Biscuits. And there's going to be afterwards, anybody who's bored, who would be bored at a baseball game, afterwards, a fireworks show. So, hey, it's kind of two things, and you always get the food. So this coming Friday, if you want to join us, I would love for you to RSVP by Wednesday. You can eitherwise let me know after church. You find it in the newsletter. You find the email address there as well. If for some reason it's a last minute thing, we're gonna pull it off. But if possible, if you can just RSVP by Wednesday evening. This coming week, a few things, and maybe before I start there, I first ask around in the circle, anybody any special announcements? Okay. Then, coming Monday, so tomorrow, we're going to have Monday yoga at 6 p.m. And with the Monday yoga, our yoga instructor had the excitement of finding a full-time job on Signal Mountain as a teacher, which means she will not be able to teach us in yoga much longer. She'll do it still this next 2 July Mondays. So if you didn't have a chance, kind of try it still out. If you have a yoga instructor that you would like to recommend to us, see either Selena or myself, that we can figure something out. But we'll definitely do it for the next 2 Mondays. Mondays also at 4:30, Standing Out Chattanooga. Judy, did you know what the topic will be? Judith. Or Judith? Oh, do you guys?
Environment.
Dave says environment.
The environment. So 4:30 and on Miller Plaza. On Wednesday evening, Wednesday potluck. Everyone is welcome. Drag some friends along. Bring your family. Because you don't have to pay the bill, just we're gonna have a potluck, just you feed them for the evening. And I think, so Selena, I saw some veggies. Is there something you wanna tell?
Oh, yes. They're vegetables, take them.
Okay. So you'll see them on the big white tables. If there's one more. Yeah.
I just want to point out that our RE, our religious education, is doing awesome stuff. We have really cool things coming up. You can check it out if you're part of it in our newsletter. I think it's in our regular newsletter. Next month, I'm really excited about, we're going to have all of our kids and youth helping us with our anti-litter campaign. And just for the parents, we're going to have a really cool parents' night out. There's more coming up every month after that. It's great. Keep paying attention. Stay tuned.
Isn't that cool?
Hello. Our next Sabbath on the pagan calendar is August 1st. It's called Lunasa. We are not doing an event here at UUCC for that one because it's kind of niche, but we created a display board out there in the fellowship area to tell you all about what it is, a little bit of the history of it, ways that you can celebrate at home. We have some bread, homemade bread for you to sample. And there are some where you can snap a photo, and there are some links to take you to a couple of craft ideas and other recipes if you're interested in recognizing that day. So stop by out there on your way out.
Thank you, Jan. Mandy?
Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting this one, and I don't even have a microphone on anymore. I've started a project called Is This Your Stuff? We are cleaning the office out, and you'll find things on tables that you might recognize that might be yours. Just take them. It's good. We are actually getting ready to have a yard sale, and so my goal is not to throw people's stuff away or sell it in the yard sale. Although I could make more money maybe if people bought their own things back. I'm not sure. So the table over here, I also want to say that the free libraries moved into the minister's office. And I want to say something else that you can actually walk in and out of safely now. So if you need free library, it's in the minister's office. I'll put a sign up. The books are not gone forever. They just moved around the corner. I just want to make sure everyone knew that. Thanks.
Thank you, Mandy. Well, and before I start the usual thing about service, one more chance. Next Sunday, Music Sunday. We still need another greeter. We still need a second person helping for coffee. We still need a board rep for all of the board members that actually kind of supported today for next Sunday. There's the online sign-up sheet through Sign Up Genius. You find also the QR code out there. You find it in the newsletter. So there's several different ways that you can sign up. So with that in mind, this service ends and your service to this community continues right now.